We're going to start on Lamed Gimel. Lamed Bey is right on the top. Zayim Shel Abaisai. Thank Hashem that we're able to enter every day. Supposed to be learning Shel Beis Hamikdash immediately. And we're learning the Nishmas have a golden bus. Baruch Binyamin. And son of Zeb Ben Tzia. And also for Refuah Shleima for Avram David Ben Sarah. And Gedali Getzalel, he hasn't been figured super. Okay, so it starts like the Zemer Shel Avaisai, the mamish on top of the page. This one says that the property belonged to my father.
Mamish on top of which page?
Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. This one says the property belonged to my father. Zemer Shel Avaisai. And this one says the property belonged to my father. Okay. We had this case before. I'm not 100% sure why we're bringing this case again. So this one, there are two people with the same claim, right? They each say that it belonged to their fathers. The only thing is that this one of them has witnesses that it actually belonged to the father. And one of them has witnesses that he was there for 3 years. Rav Chisda says about this case, this is the case we had before, says Mali L'Shaker, he has a migu. The guy that says that it was my father's, and he has witnesses that he has a chazaka, he has a migu, that we should trust him that it was his father's. Why? What's the migu? Says he didn't have to say that it was his father's. He could have said that I bought it from you and I have a chazaka. Why do you have to argue with him? You could agree with him. Say, okay, yeah, it was your father's, whatever. But I bought it from you. Say, well, where's your document? Says, what do you mean? I don't have to keep my document. I was here for 3 years. After 3 years, you don't have to save a document. So if he would have said that claim, it would have been 100% his. Now that he didn't say that claim, so we should trust him with the migu that just as if he would have said that, we would have believed him. We should believe him now. So that's very good. That's Rav Chisda's claim. Rav Chisda's sak. Abaye v'Rava, however, leisvir lahadar Rav Chisda. Abaye v'Rava don't agree with Rav Chisda, and their explanation for why they don't agree is because they say, "What are we saying? That he could have said that I bought it from you. They say, well, where's your document? Well, I don't have to hold my document because I was here for 3 years. And I even have witnesses that I was here for 3 years. That would have been a good claim. Based on that claim, we want to say that therefore we should trust him that it belonged to his fathers. What's he actually saying? He's actually saying that it belonged to his father. He says, but we have contradictory witnesses. The witnesses are saying that it belonged to his father. So your migu that you could have lied is not going to be stronger than the witnesses. Don't say migu b'makam. So therefore, the one with the witnesses is going to win. Because even though his claim is strengthened by something that he could have said, right, with the migu, but that's not going to be stronger than actual witnesses. So the chazaka is going to be what's called the chazaka she'eni matayna. You have a chazaka that doesn't have any backing to it. So what are you doing in my property? So I don't know. No one told me anything. I'm just here. That's what it turns out to be, a chazaka without any backing. He says, yeah, he's claiming that it's his father's, but we don't trust him that it's his father's. And so therefore he has a chazaka, 3 years, but there's no taina behind it. There's no claim. It's a chazaka without a claim, and that doesn't work. Yeah, very good. Okay, why we had to bring this Gemara again, I'm not 100% sure. It seems like this Gemara we really had before on Daf Lamed Aleph, where we had also Rav Chisda and Abaye v'Rava. Yeah, the same story.
Seems like
before it wasn't Rav Chisda, before it was Rabbah. Who is it over here? Rav Chisda. I don't know. I'm not sure why. There must be a comment in the. Okay. Next Gemara. Was the person that said to his friend, "My boy's Bahayara, what are you doing in my property, my land?" Amalei, minach zavni v'chaltir shnei chazaka. What do you mean? I bought it from you. I've been here for 3 years. I have a chazaka. So Azal Aisi Sadi Dachla Tartishni. He went and he brought witnesses that he was there for 2 years. Almost there. 2 years. Not enough, though. 2 years is not enough. Now, what happens is when he brings these witnesses that he's there for 2 years, the witnesses say not just that he's there for 2 years, but that he also consumed the produce of 2 years, which means that if he doesn't get his 3rd year in, if he doesn't get witnesses for his 3rd year, he's going to end up owing money as well, because the witnesses are going to testify that he was there for 2 years eating produce. And if it's not his property, he's going to end up having to pay for that produce. See, sometimes the fact that he's there for 3 years and that he ate the produce is all based on his testimony. So then we're not going to say that you owe the money for the produce because he's the one that claimed. He's the one that told me that he was there for 3 years eating produce. And Hapesha Asar, so who Hapesha Hitter? He's the one that's going to tell me that it was his property. So in other words, you can't make him more obligated than what he's claiming, because he's the one that said that it was okay. But over here, we have witnesses as well that are saying that he was there for 3 years, for 2 years, which becomes he's almost there, but it also becomes like a liability because now he's actually going to owe the money for the fruits. Amrav Svit, I'm sorry, we go to Amrav Nachman. Rav Nachman says, Hadra Arav, Hadra Peri. Nachman says, you don't have witnesses that you're there for 3 years. You have to return the land. Return the land, you also have to return the fruits. Now, some of the Rishonim say that what Rav Nachman's Chiddush over here is that one of the options in the Gemara earlier, when we just started all of these, Zerma Shalavaisa and all of these things, was that there was a possibility that maybe the first 2 years he was Michael. Remember such an option? Maybe on Daf Tes. Yeah. Rava says, Shasa Kamaisa Machal Tati Machal, Klas Le Machal, that he's Michael it. Rav Nachman says, no, he's not. I mean, well, the Gemara says, Amar Rav Nachman. Why did Rav Nachman say the Gemara actually to refute? This is Rav Nachman. To refute that possibility of Rava before, we quote Rav Nachman later on. This Chaim was mentioning, because we're quoting Rav Nachman. We quote Rav Nachman later on that says Hadra Arav Hadra Peri. If he was Meichelet, then he forgave it. If he forgave it, then how do you say he has to return? He was there for 2 years. If the reason why a chazaka takes 3 years is because the first 2 years, the reason why he didn't protest is because he's Meichel. So then now that he was there for 2 years, he has proof that he was there for 2 years. So why does he have to pay for the fruits? He was Meichel. Meichel, Mechila, he forgives, doesn't require a kinyan. Right? If you owe me money and I say, yeah, don't worry about it, it's not a problem. You know, you can, it's fine. You can keep it. So I don't have to make a kinyan on that. The money becomes automatically yours. Mechila, it works like very, very quick. So if he was Michael, let's say, he wouldn't have to pay. Why does Rav Nachman paskin later that you have to? It must be that we needed the nupshat in Chazaka. So then the Gemara later said that it must be that the first year, not that he's Michael, but that it's possible that he doesn't protest, even though he wasn't Michael. Doesn't protest. So the second year he doesn't. By the 3rd year for sure he's going to protest. So by the 3rd year it's already a proof that it's not that the fact that he didn't protest means that it's he's agreeing that it's his, and that's so the person didn't have to watch his document. Okay, so over here Rav Nachman is saying this is the case of Hajar Hadra Peri, that you have to return the fruits as well because he only has witnesses for 2 years.
You didn't mention that there's a witness that said how much he consumed it. But otherwise he doesn't.
Otherwise, we explained that if there's no witness saying that he consumed, then he's the one that said that I consumed, and he's the one that said that what I consumed was mine. So if you're trusting him that he consumed, then you have to trust him with his full statement that it was his. But over here, because there's witnesses that are saying it, follow? So the witness, we have an independent source that's saying that he consumed.
To Adam Trump off is that one? Is it the one?
Yeah. That has to do with criminal activity. This
He
is
also
claim.
worked that one, right? What about all his work that he did? Does it discount that?
So that's interesting. I'm gonna see a little bit like that in a second, but the Rashbam mentioned he could have said, he could have also said, Lo yachalti peirus tiyim ma'at. If you go on the Rashbam, if you have a traditional Gemara, the last line, it says, could be that he could say, yeah, I didn't really get much fruits, even though I was there, because I put in so much work that the fruits that came out wasn't that much. Right? It's possible that he can say, I put in so much effort that it's the effort, there was no profit. Could be, you could have said something like that.
Received payment for he did a lot more work than what that produced.
Yeah. So would he get payment for that? That could be. It could be that would kick in. Because we said that if you do work in someone else's property, you do end up getting paid for it, even if you weren't asked to do it. If it improves the value, if it improves the value, you get the lower price. Though. You don't get the full price. Amar Rav Zvid. Rav Zvid says, now, Rav Zvid, it turns out that Rav Zvid is not a continuation of the case of Rav Nachman. In the case of Rav Nachman, the person already said that I was there for 3 years, and he only has witnesses for 2 years. Comes along Rav Zvid and says, if the case would have been different, he can't switch it now. Rav Zvid is a brand new case. Zvid is saying that if instead of saying that I bought it from you, and I was there for 3 years, he says, I didn't buy it from you. I'm just a worker. See, if he would have lessened his claim, he wouldn't have been so greedy. He wouldn't have had to pay so much. Because he tried to get the property, he now has to, and he didn't, he now has to pay for the fruits. If he wouldn't have said that he wants the property, if he would have just said that I was a sharecropper, that means I go into the field, I work it, and I eat part of the fruits. He would have said that, then he wouldn't have had to pay.
Same fruit that you produce the whole year, or just what you paid? You can't really know what person paid.
Yeah, you'd have to do some value, how much they produced and all of that.
But it's not tough for him to job anyway. So,
Right, if he's an artist, and not just as mutatid on the job because you're allowed to put things into your mouth while you're working, but he actually owns the fruit. By the way, there's another option, but besides for artists, he could have also said that I bought the fruits for the year or for 10 years or whatever. I bought the fruit. Sometimes people see a tree, they want all the fruits, so they say I'll buy all the fruits. Right? Yeah, so I'll buy all the fruits of that tree for this year. People do that. So he could have said that I bought all the fruits, and it doesn't need the field. So then Nemani would have been believed. Lavni Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Did not Rabbi Yehuda say, Hayman denaket magla v'tuvliya? If someone takes a sickle is that round blade, it's used for harvesting. V'tuvliya is possibly ropes that are used to climb the tree, and it's also possibly a basket. It's two translations of tuvliya. Amar, and he says, Ezel, I'm gonna go, Gadre Ledikla, I'm gonna cut the palm tree, It doesn't. Probably doesn't mean he's going to cut the palm tree. It means he's going to cut the fruits of the palm tree. The planya of so and so, the zavnin ale, that he sold it to me. So we say meheman, that he's believed, even though he's walking into someone's property, taking the fruits, and we believe him. Doesn't have any chazaka. It's nothing. He just says, "What are you doing over here?" He says, "Well, the guy told me I can take his fruits."
So a sharecropper can own the produce, but not the land.
Yeah, he owns the produce, but not the land. So here, he would have been able, if he would have claimed that I'm going to take the fruits because I own the fruits, because I'm a sharecropper or I bought them, then he would have believed. And the reason for that is, like chutzah finished, the gadar or the gazar dikla lavdi day, because no one would have the chutzpah to go into someone else's property just to cut the fruits and walk out. It must be that the story is true. So Haname, here the case would be as well. Like chutzah finished, the mechal period lavdi day. He never would have been able to say that. What do you mean you sold me the fruits of the property? Wouldn't have had the chutzpah to say that. There's exceptions to this. These guys, catch me if you can. These guys, they can say anything, get away with it. But we're saying a typical case. No one would say such thing. We have cases like this also, like what a woman would say to her husband. Remember, that we trust them just because we don't assume that anyone would have the gall, the audacity to say such a statement.
Jews are baishanim. That's one of our qualities.
Yeah. Jews are baishanim. Yeah. I'm not sure if that was inherent or that came because of Matan Torah. Yeah, there was one of them that came in that letter that you showed me. It says that one of the three attributes of a Jew it wasn't inherent. It came to them because of Matan Torah. Okay, either way, we had Matan Torah, so Jews are baishanim. So a person would never claim that. So the fact that he's claiming it, we trust him. Gemara says, hey, if that's true, then we can apply this to more than what we're talking about. We could apply this Yihachi, Aranami. Say the same thing about the land. He says the land was mine. He said, I bought it from you. Should automatically trust him. If you say that for the fruits, why don't you say that for the land? Gemara says, Ara amrina leach bishtarcha. By the land, when you say that I bought it, we have a question, a return question. It has to be asked. So where's the document? No document is a problem. However, so Yachi Perinami. So why by the fruits don't you say where's your document? He says, well, Star La Perle Abdi Inchi. People don't make documents for the fruit. So you can get away with a claim of I bought it from you when it comes to personality, which you don't write documents for, but you can't get away with that claim when it comes to land, because by land, there's a return question of, so where's the document? And if you can't show the document, then that's a proof that it's not really you, unless you were there for 3 years. There for 3 years, you need witnesses that you were there for 3 years. In our case, he only had witnesses that he was there for 2 years. And now Rav Zvid was coming in to say, when you have witnesses that you were there for 2 years, you would have been able to get away without paying the fruits if you would have said that I didn't buy the land, I only bought the fruits. I say, well, where's your document? They say, well, you don't write documents for fruits. Yeah. Could be they do write documents, but you can't have a claim on him that, so where's your document? Because sometimes they don't. So when it comes to land, you always write a document. Okay. Who was a person that said to his friend, my bias bahayara, what are you doing in my property? He says, what do you mean? I bought it from you. And I was there for 3 years. I was there for 3 years means that the reason why I can't show you the document is because no one said anything, so I wasn't careful with the document. I see Chad Sada. He ends up bringing one witness, Dachlat Lashni, that he was there for 3 years. See, in the last case, he brought 2 witnesses that were there for 2 years, which was also no good. Over here, he brings one witness that he was there for 3 years, which doesn't work. So the yeshiva guys, the rabbis, they said in front of Abaya that, oh, we know that case already. That's the case of Nascha de Rababa. We know what the halacha is going to be. It's the same as Nascha de Rababa. Nascha means a bar of silver, of a case of bar of silver of Rabab. It says that who gavra, there was a story, there was a person, the Chatav Nascha Mechabre. He grabbed the bar of silver out of his friend's hands. He just grabbed it. Asala Kami de Rabami, comes to Rabami. Rabami was the judge. Avi Yosef Rab Abba come in, Rab Abba was sitting there. I see Chadsada, the Mechtaf Chatva Minay. The fellow brings one witness that says that so-and-so came and took the silver right out of his hands. Amarle, and the person responded, in Chatvi, yes, I did grab it. Vididi Chatvi, and I grabbed it because it was mine. He didn't contradict the witness, which he could have. He could have said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he would have to take an oath. When you contradict the witness, a single witness, you have to take an oath. If 2 witnesses, then we don't even care about your oath. If there's 2 witnesses, then there's no oath. You just have to pay. But he didn't even bother. He didn't even bother contradicting the witness. He said, "Yeah, it's true, but the reason why I took it was because it was mine." Amar Rabami says, how will the judges judge this case? So Rashbam spells this out interesting. He does it in an interesting way. So let's analyze it according to the Rashbam. Let's say there would actually be 2 witnesses that said that he grabbed it. And this person says, yes, I grabbed it, but it was mine. So we would say that he has to pay for it. Because there's a chazaka, mashatachas yad adam shalai. The assumed ownership of this bar of silver was the person that was holding it.
Right.
A person can't just grab things away from someone and say, yeah, it's mine, and then we trust him. It's not how it works. Whoever was holding it first, he's the guy that it's assumed the ownership. And if you grab it, you're going to need to bring proof why you grabbed it. So if we have proof that this person was holding it, mamish proof, and there's 2 witnesses that say that this person came and grabbed it away from him, so then he for sure has to pay. Then there's no shiloh over here. Right? Over here, we don't have 2 witnesses. Here we only have 1 witness. Next possibility is if we didn't have any witness, and it's just his word against the other guy. The guy says, I was holding it. And this guy comes along and says, yeah, I agree you were holding it, but I took it away because it was mine. It's a classic kids fight. You know, they pull things away. The parents have no clue whose it was. And the kids are arguing. They say, what do you mean it's my toy? It says, somehow each one thinks it's his. So what would happen then? When he grabbed it, and there's no witness, so we would trust the guy that grabbed it and says, yes, I grabbed it, but it was mine. And the reason why we would trust him is because he would have a migu, that he could have said, I know what you're talking about. I was holding this the whole time. What are you talking about? What are you making believe that you were holding it and I grabbed it? You were never holding it. It was always mine. You're making up a story. L'adam. We could have said that. So we would have trusted him with the migu, that it's his. He's holding it now. Right? So then we would have trusted him. We would have trusted the guy that's holding it now. So now,
Son stole a toy from someone else and says it's amigo, then he's a real gone.
if the boy says that, migu, yeah. Yeah. If they learn Gemara too young, they'll come up with migus. The next possible case, the third possible case that the Rashbam spells out is that, let's say the witness says that this person grabbed it, and he says, no, I didn't. So then he would have to take an oath. because when you contradict the witness, you have to take an oath. The problem here is that he didn't contradict the witness. So here it's like a messed up situation. It doesn't fit into any of the categories that we're familiar with. We don't have two witnesses. We don't have zero witnesses. And the one witness that we have, he's not contradicting that witness. So L'Shalem, let's go through the Gemara now. L'Shalem, to tell him that he has to pay for the bar of silver that he grabbed, like a Tresadi, you don't have the case of two witnesses, that would make him chayiv to pay for the bar of silver. Lifterei, to say that he's totally pater, like we would say if there was no witnesses there and he had a migu, that he could have said, I don't know what you're talking about, I never took it from you. Ikachad you can't do that because they have one witness that said that he did take it. Lishtaba, to swear, which is what you do when you have one witness, but he's agreeing to the witness. You only swear when you contradict the witness. And when he says that he grabbed it, so we'll consider him like a gazlan. Not sure why that's the detail. That's why that's significant. I would say so. Rashbam says maybe we would make him swear that it's his. Maybe we would make him swear that it's his, even though usually you swear when you contradict the witness. The problem is, I don't know why he has to be a Gazlan. Gazlan is a close first. He doesn't swear because he doesn't because there's no oath.
The coin says the court does not allow a robber to take an oath.
Yeah, but I'm asking that he doesn't take an oath anyway.
Oh, right.
So maybe there's a type of oath that gets flipped or something, or what type of oath? Well, in the comments, what type of oath would they have put on him that he can't take? What notice this? The only oath that the defendant could possibly take would be to affirm that the ingot was originally his. But this would be ineffective because we do not concoct an oath to conform to the defendant's claim. Be effective, an oath must be imposed by law. Here, the only imposed oath is that he shoots the witness dead. Another. Okay, so why do we say that he's a thief?
Because it was so
Is a
obvious.
robber to take any oath? This explanation of the analogy to the robber follows Rashbam elucidation of that of Rashi to Shavuos 32. Others explain the Gemara to mean that once the defendant admits to snatching from another, he is presumed a robber and his oath is inadmissible. Ben Yonah dismisses the possibility of considering him a robber by his own admission, but he never admitted to an act of robbery. Still others delete this analogy from the text altogether. Oh, okay. So someone was a logical thought. The Ritva says some delete this. Okay. Easy, huh?
Yeah, there's something in here.
This black marker. So so whatever the case is, it says Kolam Mechuyev Shvua have a Mechuyev Shvua Shein Yachli Shava. So there's really an oath here. Amalahu Amalei Rababa says have a Mechuyev Shvua Shein Yachli Shava. You see, this really fits with what we would say about a Gazlan. If he would be a robber, then a robber can't take an oath. So it says, well, he has to take an oath, but he can't take an oath. So maybe this point of the Gemara is going back on. No, this is still on the case of the Nascha de Rababa. Okay, so he says over here, who was Rabbi Ami said, what do we do? Rabbi Abba says, well, he's going to have to pay. He's going to have to pay because he can't take an oath. Can't take an oath. We don't have what to do. He's just going to have to pay for the bar of silver. Now, how that takes us back to what we're talking about is there's a guy in the property, and he only has one witness that's testifying that he was there for 3 years. So he says, "Oh, I know what we do when there's only one witness. That's exactly what happened with the case with Nascha de Rababa, with the bar of silver, with Rababa. When there's only one witness, the person has to pay. So here also, the person's going to have to pay, which means that he was in the property unrightfully. He's going to have to pay for that. He's going to have to leave the property and maybe pay for the fruits."
So this is the Shavua 8 Echad?
So, yeah, that's the problematic question. But yeah, this would be a shvua of the Eid which he can't take for one of two reasons. Either because he's a Gazlan or because it wasn't administered. We don't have an oath for him to take because he wasn't
Right.
makar. So then he's going to have to pay.
Isn't the idea of paying if you can't take the oath applicable only to Shavua Deraisa?
Yeah, by an Eid there's a shvua deraisa.
I'm saying it doesn't apply to Shavua Derabanan, does it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it has to be 8 Echad. It couldn't be any of the others.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my only question on all of this is that, for 1 second, it's not that it's the reason why he's not taking the oath is because there is no oath for us to administer to him because he was agreeing with the witness.
Well,
There's a second reason why he's not taking the oath, not just because he's a robber.
but a motive mixus also has an element of agreement with the claimant.
Yeah, but he swears on the part that he's denying.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Hill is bringing up an interesting question. Question is that you don't swear on property. So in our case, over here we're dealing with by the bar of silver you can take an oath on, but by the property you can't take an oath. There's a rule that you don't swear on Einishban al Karkais, you don't swear on property. So we're doing a comparison here between the bar of silver and the property, and we're saying that, oh, that should be the same halacha. You can't swear here, so therefore you have to pay. You can't swear there, you have to pay. But maybe that's exactly the comparison. You can't swear by the property either, because it's property. Well, Amalei Abaya says, me dummy, how can you compare these two cases? They're very, very different, because it becomes very obvious in a moment. Pasam Sada Lairui Kasi. Over there by the bar of silver, if another witness would come, if another witness would come and say that you grabbed it. In other words, if there would the fact that there's two witnesses, the fact that there's only one witness is helping him. If there would be two witnesses, he would have to pay for sure. So it's really him against the witness. So therefore, he has to pay. Then we would take the bar of silver and give it back to the first person that was holding it. But hacha, in our case, if there would be a second witness, l'siyui kasi, the witness is saying that he was there for 3 years in the property. If we would have a second witness, then he would keep the property. It's the opposite. The witness is there to help him, not to get him into trouble. So the witness is there as a support. Well, if another witness would come, we would actually put it into his hands because now he has two witnesses that he has a chazaka. So the witnesses here are on the other side. If you would want to compare our case to Rababa, to the case of the Nascha de Rababa, you would have to adjust one detail. And we're familiar with this case because we had it right before with Rav Zvid. If you would have said, if the witness would say that you were in the property for only 2 years, So then you would be contradicting the witness. Then if a second witness would come, you'd be in deep trouble. Then you'd for sure have to pay for those fruits. So that would be a case that would be more comparable to Rababa. But in this case, it's not comparable to Rababa. So what's the conclusion here?
Would Masik be considered a witness also, like the victim? That would be true.
The guy that was in the property.
No, the victim, the one that's just claiming that, you know, you took.
He took the bar of silver from me.
Witness also?
No, he can't be a witness. So what would come out here is that yes, he only has one witness for the chazaka, right? Back to our case, he only has one witness for the chazaka, so he's not going to be able to hold on to the property. But at the same time, he's also not going to have to pay for the fruits. Because you can't make him pay for anything that, 1 second. What do you have to pay for the fruits?
If there's witnesses.
It's one witness. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I gotta look into it. I think not.
Would it be the case you mentioned of the swearing, like if there's one witness, is he the swear? It doesn't work.
He's not contradicting the witness. Saying that he ate the fruits. He's just saying that it's his. It doesn't make sense that he would have to pay, because the other person doesn't have proof that it's his, or maybe he does. The other person does have proof that it's his.
There was a whole
Yeah.
thing that he gave up on it.
Yeah, of course, the other person for sure needs to have proof that it's his, or else he can't claim the property. For sure, he has proof that it's his. This person was there for. He's claiming that he's there for 3 years. Only thing is, he just doesn't have proof that he was there for 3 years. So he's trying to make him pay. Trying to make him pay for the fruits. Rav Nachman said, if you don't have proof for that, then Hadra or Hadra Peri. But that was, yeah, you have to return the fruits as well. But that was when he had 2 witnesses that it was there for 2 years. Here, he has 1 witness that it was there for 3 years. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to look in the comments.
And the towing has a document or witnesses?
Yeah, for sure he has. Otherwise, he wouldn't have any claim against him.
Right, so the guy occupying the land is out of luck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One second, let me just see if the Rashbam says. Right. Leperi, the Rashbam says, Mishtaba de Zavnina Achat, Zavnina Achaltinon, the Kamla Peshas of Pesheter, that he would swear that he bought it because he's returning the land, but the Peri doesn't return. Oh, because he's the one that's saying that he's the one that ate the fruits. He could have said that I didn't eat any fruits. I guess it depends on what the witness was saying. It depends on what the witness was saying. If the witness says that he consumed fruits that he would owe, then he would have to pay for those fruits. If he didn't have witnesses for that, then he wouldn't have to pay. He would be able to say that I didn't get any fruits, I didn't get any profit. Okay, Ahu Arba. Let's do the next. There was a boat. The two people were arguing about the boat. Hayamar didihu, didihi, v'hayamar didihi. Each one says that it's mine. Also, chad min ayla beidina. One of them comes to court. Amar tifsu, take it away. Now, what's the rule by this boat is that we're going to say kol dalam gvar. We're going to say that whoever is stronger, whoever fights harder is going to keep the boat. Yeah, this is different than the case by Shneimers and Batalis. Shneimers and Batalis, we say yachlaiku. The people are holding on to the talis, so we say we divide it. Over here, because they're not holding on to it, so we just say whoever fights harder is going to keep it. It's a very odd halacha. We just say, okay, like fight it out. But whatever the case is, so one person comes to Bezdin and tells the Bezdin, can you please confiscate it before the other person gets it? Because Adam Yasina Sadi didihi. I want to bring witnesses that it's mine. So he wants the court to confiscate it for him. Well, something's a little suspicious here. Tafsinan or light tafsinan. Should the court confiscate it or not? Now, this is dependent on if the guy doesn't find witnesses, what are you going to do? You see, you always have to play things out. Let's say he brings witnesses, then very good. But let's say he doesn't. What's the court going to do? Going to hold it indefinitely, or is the court going to say, okay, I'm going to hand it back and we're going to just let you fight it out? But would the court ever do that, to hand something back and not hand it into the owner and not to hand it to the owner? So, tafsinan like tafsinan. Does the court confiscate it because this person requested that or not? Rav Huna Amar tafsinan. Rav Huna says yes, and we're going to see the explanation why. Is because if the guy doesn't bring there's witnesses, the court has no problem giving it back. Rav Yehuda Amar Lei tafsinan. Rav Yehuda says no, we don't confiscate it because we do have a problem giving it back. They're just going to give it back to put it in front of both of them and say, fight it out and step back. See, let them rush in and try to grab it. Also, what happened is the guy went, he couldn't find witnesses. So he said to them, okay, put it back. And now we'll fight it out. So what's the halacha? Do you put it back? So what we said before, do you confiscate it, is role dependent on this. It says Rav Yehuda Amar Lei Mafkin. Rav Yehuda says you don't put it back. You don't put it back. Just let them fight it out. And that's why he said before we shouldn't confiscate it, because at the end, if he doesn't bring witnesses, you're going to be stuck. Rav Papa Amar, Rav Papa and Rav Huna would say the same thing. Mafkinan. So you do put it back, and that's why Rav Huna said that you're allowed to take it, because you can put it back and let them fight it out. V'hilchasa, and the halacha is leit tafsinan. You're not supposed to take it originally, and that would be the rule like Rav Yehuda. But if it was taken, if it was confiscated by the court, lei mafkinan, we don't put it back, which is also the rule of Rav Yehuda. The court would have to hold on to it indefinitely until they figured out whose it was. Okay, let's leave it over here. Have a good day, everyone.
Good day. Thank you.